the Nuggets beat the Timberwolves yesterday. Nikola Jokic putting up MVP-like numbers yet again.
Yeah.
35, 15, insane numbers. If he averages like 35, 15, and 12 in the season, and I don't think there's ever been a season for any MVP like that. He's really putting up numbers. But Denver Nuggets are 29th in defense this season. They're horrible. They're conceding 120 every game almost. We actually put them as one of the favorites to go on all the way until the Western Conference Finals like they did last season. But they don't really look like the team that they took a hit with Jeremy Grant. They've not replaced him. They don't think they can replace him because he was a great defender. He took on all the big guys. He took on LeBron when required. He took on Kawhi when required.
And he's balling out in Detroit. He's really making the most of his starting minutes.
Yes. So Michael Porter Jr., as great as he may become, he's still not the Jeremy Grant that they had last season. So where do you think Denver Nuggets are headed this season?
First of all, Michael Porter Jr. is trademark Denver, at least from the last few seasons, right? All offense, no defense. He's exactly Denver. Like if the team had a model personality, that's him. First of all, I don't think Jokic's 35-something triple-double numbers are going to be an average for the season. That's a bit much. That's going to get rationalized, especially because right now Jamal Murray is a shadow of the guy we saw in the bubble. Unless he steps up, this team's not going anywhere. Jokic can put up any kind of numbers. It's not going anywhere. If he does step up, some of those numbers are going to erode, right? It's at some level, you've got to assume an offense this potent, it's got to be a zero-sum game or close. Now, but this is borderline Russell Westbrook in his triple-double years. These numbers look like that, except Jokic is nowhere close to being as selfish a player. Now, their problem is really last season amplified, which is their offense is still pretty good, but slightly diminished from what it was last season. And Michael Porter Jr. is out for a short bit with an injury, so that doesn't help. And then their defense seems to have taken body blows. Jeremy Grant was easily the best defender. They lost him. He was the guy that turned the tide in that Utah series in the postseason, and played really well against the Clippers too. So that's a bummer. There's really no other way to put it. Especially looking at how well he's playing in Detroit, that's a bummer for the team. Jamal Murray is a shell. Michael Porter is injured. He's kind of in and out. I think the biggest problem though is, you know how we talk about early on in the season, teams get in their rotations, they figure out their best five, what does their secondary unit look like, and how do they transition in and out of these two. I think the biggest problem is right now there's too much rotation. You know what I mean? And most of their rotation is guard heavy. They've got so many guards coming in and out that nobody really gets in a stretch. So it's almost like some kind of gladiatorial survival series where you're sent on in the rotation as a guard. You get shots up, you stay, you get more minutes. You don't get shots up, you're out, and somebody else comes in. How many guys? Facundo Campazzo had to score 5 threes to get decent minutes in a game. And he's probably one of their better defenders. So that's got to settle down a bit. There's very few coaches I trust more than Coach Malone to figure this out. So I think they're in good hands. Their rotations are guard heavy, but their options are also guard heavy. So sadly, I don't think there's a silver bullet answer to their defense. They just kind of got to hope for their best. And at this point, unlike the Dallas Mavs, I don't think investing more time in this defense is going to get any miraculous results. You can suck less, but the answer surely has to come again from their offense being all world, which means MPJ taking flight, which means Jamal Murray's got to show up. They're in deep trouble otherwise. They'll keep getting these inconsistent results and bounce slightly above or below 500.
What's up with Jamal Murray? Because he averaged 18 last season before we went to Orlando and to the bubble. And then he averaged double. He averaged around 35 points in the bubble. And then when we come back to the regular season, he's back to his former self. He looks like an 18 player, taking a lot of threes, but not hitting a lot of them. He went hot in the bubble, no doubt about that. He was one of the best players in the league. Sure. But what's up with him? You think this is his regular self, or do you think he has an upside that is waiting to explode?
No, it's a little like the Miami Heat. I think it's a very young player that's going through some ups and downs, and it's not easy. And everyone rebounds a different way. I mean, if Paul George, after these many years in the league, can get mentally affected in the bubble, and that reflects in his performances sometimes on the pitch, and that's real. I'm not even making fun of him here. Um, all of those isolations could have had an adverse impact on his mental health. And if you're not mentally there, you're not there as a player on the court. And so by that, what I mean is different players react differently to adversity. Some players go into a funk and they have trouble bouncing out, and they probably need some coaching help. Maybe like a sports therapist to talk to kind of guide them out of it. Some people just grind it out and they come back, and there's no one master plan way to get out of this. For me, Jamal Murray is just in a funk. It's a combination of a bunch of things. Maybe his motivation isn't up there. Maybe shot just isn't dropping, which is true. We've seen that.
Yeah.
And not in his favor is the fact that usually when players get hot like that one season, they see a lot more defensive attention than they used to the next season. I can't say that that's happening too much with Jamal Murray. I think it's more or less pretty much the same kind of defenses that he's always did. It's not like suddenly teams are looking at him like he's Dame Lillard or Steph Curry committing 2 men on him and stuff like that. That's not happening. So then I'd probably pin it down to he's in a funk, bad run of form, shot just isn't dropping. Coaches got to work through, and as a team, especially with the passing ability of Jokic and Millsap can toss it around too. I think it's really on the team and in their best interest to find a way to get Jamal Murray in positions where he can get buckets in and kind of build that confidence up. It's what you do when a player is not in his best run of form. Players like that wasn't a fluke. What we saw in the bubble wasn't a fluke. That kind of offense, you can't get hot. It wasn't just streaky shooting. It was creating his own shot. It was playmaking. It was clutch plays on both ends of the court. You can't fake those. The fundamentals are there. Just a player in a bad run of form, young player that needs to find his feet again. It's what we saw with a lot of the Miami Heat guys.
Yep. So we did put Denver up, right up, say even Western Conference Finals contenders, right? Do you still believe? Do you still stick by that? Because they don't look like the team.
Yeah, they've taken a lot more of a pummeling on the defensive abilities end than I was hoping to see. Jeremy Grant now seems to be a much bigger loss. Part of that and part of why their defense looks worse is because their offense isn't quite at the level that it was last year. But even if it is, they're going to struggle a lot. Gary Harris has tapered off even more than what I thought he did at the end of last season. Paul Millsap, I think he's to an extent, and this is going to be harsh, but to an extent, he's reminding me of Al Horford and how he tapered off. Right? This player who was really at that level once upon a time, who he just isn't there anymore. So I think the answer really is if Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, and Michael Porter Jr. can go off like they did last season, yeah, maybe they've got a shot. But otherwise, this defense is too much of a problem to overcome, especially in if it's like this in the regular season, God bless them in the postseason, right? So
and Michael Porter Jr.
At this point, I don't think they look like the WCF bound team that I thought they were.
Yeah, Michael Porter Jr. seems to be missing a few games due to injury or COVID protocols, one of them. But once he's back, do you think that will kind of boost the Denver Nuggets, or are they one move away from James Harden? Because that was one of the rumored talks, wasn't it?
But every franchise apparently is a move away from James Harden, and it's not really saying much, is it? Because to land any player, you're only a move away. You're a move away from LeBron James too, if the Lakers want to trade. Again, it's a bit like Toronto. Yes, you can trade for James Harden, but two things come in the way of that. One, there is nothing the Denver Nuggets can offer short of Nikola Jokic in that trade that gets Houston to agree. That's what we've seen from them so far. And two, even if you were to find some alchemy that convinces them to accept a trade that doesn't involve Jokic, you're going to give up a whole lot. And then what do you have left?
Yeah.
Oh, great, you have James Harden, and who exactly? It's not a tennis tournament. You're not going to win with one guy. So no, I don't think. I think that's just trash rumors. At this point, every club worth anything's linked to James Harden. I don't think that's their answer. Michael Porter Jr. coming back. Look, the thing is, we saw Mavs last season, right? Best offense in the league, not very great defense. What happened? They got bounced out in the playoffs.
Yep.
They got unlucky. Sure, they looked like they were going to take Clippers all the way, but they went out. I mean, 10 years later, nobody's going to remember the refereeing call on Porzingis or any of those things. So it is what it is. With Denver, they have the second worst defense, isn't it, in the league?
Yep.
Not sure if they've slipped to the worst now, but the second worst defense at least in the league. Unless that you can't, your offense can be all world. If you're the second worst defense in the league, that's a problem. You're gonna have great numbers and triple doubles, and you're gonna have a bunch of L's on your record, which is what Jokic is experiencing in a lot of these games. 3 wins, 4 losses. It's not a pretty picture, right? And a lot of that has to be pegged down to their defense and just how many points they're giving up, how many shots in the perimeter they're giving up. They don't defend the paint very well. They don't defend the three very well. Unless that changes, this team looks like a mid-table team at best right now. And even in the playoffs, unlike say the Miami Heat or even the Dallas Mavs, where I say, all right, these guys get to the playoffs, no matter where they finish, what seed, they're a nightmare matchup in the playoffs. True. They're not. Like the Denver Nuggets are not. Like the Mavs are, the Heat are, Nuggets are not. Nightmare matchups are usually players with a 1-2 punch on offense and a solid defense that can get clutch stops.
Right.
It's what the Miami Heat are, although their offense is probably a little more distributed. It's what the Mavs are to a large extent, with Porzingis, not without.
Yep.
Denver can't be that unless Jamal Murray wakes up and Michael Porter Jr. comes back carrying some fire with him. And they've got to push Michael Porter Jr. to step up his defense. He said he wants to improve that side of his game. Coach said that's the one side of his game they want to see improve. Time to call him out on that. Time to hold him to that promise. And maybe he is working on it. Who knows? We've not seen him enough this season. But if that comes through, they've got a shot. If Michael Porter Jr. can become a two-way, he already scores for fun.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very strong rebounder and an underrated one at that. If he can pick his defense up, we're talking.
All right. So that was the Denver Nuggets. I think that's one team that everyone enjoys watching. Even if you're a fan or if you're not, you really want the Nuggets to do well all the time because they're a fun team to watch. Right. We saw that in the bubble where they were bouncing back from 3-1 down. Did that twice.
Yeah.
So it's a team that everyone enjoys watching. I really hope that they can find their mojo back, come back. They've kind of got some momentum going now with the win against the Timberwolves. Let's see.